p.m. We're going to call the meeting to order of the Wednesday, March 13th, 2019 Charter Township of Oxford Board of Trustees. Let's please pay respects to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk Wright, please note the roll. As in the absence of Supervisor Dunn, we're going to need to appoint a acting chairperson for tonight's meeting.
I make a motion to appoint Joe Ferrari as acting chair for tonight's meeting.
Support.
Motion by Trustee Curtis, supported by Trustee Nichols, to appoint Treasurer Ferrari to chair this evening's meeting. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? That motion carries. Board members, we're on item 4, approval of the agenda. Any additions, deletions?
Yes, I have
Trustee
two
Curtis.
changes to the agenda. We would like to remove item 10B, Grace Premier Living Center, both 1 and 2.
Okay.
And also item F, that should read appointment of Planning Commissioner to Zoning Board of Appeals, not 2.
Any other changes? A motion would be in order to approve the agenda as amended.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Support.
Motion by Trustee Curtis, supported by Trustee Nichols, to approve the agenda as amended. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? That motion carries. Board members, next for your consideration is the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second the motion.
Motion by Trustee Curtis, seconded by Clerk Wright, to approve the consent agenda as presented. Clerk Wright, that's a roll call, please.
Trustee Curtis.
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Trustee Dare.
Yes.
And Trustee Nichols.
Yes. Thank you. That motion carries. Item 6, public comment on items not on the agenda. Is there anybody that would like to address the Township Board? Okay. Moving on, item 7A, zoning ordinance 67A.018, amendments to sections 8.1, 11.2, 11.4, 11.7, 11.8, and 13.9. Any questions, board members? On the first reading? If not, a motion would be in order.
I move to set a second reading and possible adoption. Ooh, but we have to read each one of these, don't we?
No. I think Curtis gave us a suggestion.
All right, let me read that one.
Just giving the title of each section.
Okay. Let me see here.
It's like right after the first 5 words to set a second reading.
Yeah, I move to set a second reading and possible adoption of the Acreage Division Ordinance 104A-006 to be considered at the Charter Township of Oxford Board of Trustees April 10th, 2019 meeting.
You hold tight on that. You want to go to the first one, which is 7A.
Oh, geez, oh, Pete.
Just ignore the first
Okay.
second.
I'll make a motion to set a second reading and possible adoption of zoning ordinance 67A.018, amendments to section 8.1, 11.2, 11.3, 11.4, 11.7, 11.8, and 13.9 to be considered at the Charter Township of Oxford Board of Trustees meetings, April 10th, 2019 regular meeting.
Support.
Motion by Trustee Curtis, supported by Trustee Nichols. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? That motion carries. Item 7B, Acreage Division Ordinance 104A.006. Any comments, board members? A motion would be in order, please.
I move to set a second reading and possible adoption of the Acreage Division Ordinance 104A.006 to be considered at the Charter Township of Oxford Board of Trustees April 10th, 2019 regular meeting.
Support.
Motion by Trustee Curtis, seconded by Trustee Nichols, to approve the Acreage Division Ordinance second reading on April 10th, 2019. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? That motion carries. Item 7C, Consumers Energy Company Gas Franchise Ordinance 72A. Any comments, board members? A motion would be in order.
I move to set a second reading and possible adoption of Consumers Energy Company Gas Franchise Ordinance 72A to be considered at the Charter Township of Oxford Board of Trustees, April 10th, 2019, regular meeting.
Support.
Motion by trustee Curtis, seconded by trustee Nichols, to approve the Consumers Energy Company Gas Franchise Ordinance 72A, second reading on April 10th. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? That motion carries. Board members have nothing under item 8A or 9A. We'll go right to 10A, lawn maintenance for 300 Dunlap Road. Clerk Wright.
Yes, sir. Our lawn maintenance agreement expired at the end of December, and in opposition of going out for the bid process, it's being brought to the board for consideration to renew the contract with High Hill Lawn Services. They've done a great job for us. They're punctual, they're on time, and the lawns look really great. So for your consideration is the approval for a 3-year contract, and that's for $9,900, and it's broken down in the motion. So if there's no further questions, I'll make a motion to approve the grounds maintenance agreement with High Hill Lawn Service in the Charter Township of Oxford commencing March 13, 2019 to December 31st, 2021, in a total amount of $9,900. This $9,900 amount shall be payable in the amount of $3,300 for 2019, $3,300 for 2020, and $3,300 for 2021. Supervisor William Dunn is authorized to sign the contract on behalf of the Charter Township of Oxford, and High Hill Lawn Service shall provide copies of insurance annually, including the Charter Township of Oxford, as an additional insured on the insurance policy for the term of the contract.
Second.
Motion by Clerk Wright, seconded by trustee Curtis. Curtis, quick question. Didn't we have some add-ons? Those are now included in the contract?
They are the weeding of the flower beds and trimming of the bushes.
So it's now part of the contract?
Yes. Yep.
Trustee Nichols?
Mr. Chairman, was it part of the contract originally, the
They
weeding?
were add-ons.
When were they added on in the old contract?
I think was it done, Curtis, like on a per-need basis type thing?
Yes.
And if they had
Okay.
availability, now it's part of their job.
Okay. One thing I saw, of course, last summer is that the weeding wasn't done too well out front here. So make a note of that if you would.
See if you make a note of that. Okay. Let's call the motion, please.
Roll call will be trustee Nichols,
Yes.
trustee Darf,
Yes.
clerk Wright, yes, treasurer Ferrari,
Yes.
and trustee Curtis.
Yes.
Thank you, board members. Item 10C, Manitou Lane Water Main Construction Bid Recommendation. Water and Sewer Committee, trustee Curtis, please.
Well, I'm going to, we have Engineer Sharp in the audience tonight, and I'd like to call him up. We sent out to bid the water main project to loop the water main from M24 up into Manitou subdivision through Manitou Lane. The bids all went out, and we came back and we picked the lowest bidder, Jim. They've done business in our community before, Superior Excavating. Jim, do you feel comfortable with everything we've gotten going here like stated?
Yeah, you received 4 bids. The bids came in really well. 300, a little over 312 for Superior Excavating. Allied was at 325. Main Street was at 326, and then there was one that was a little bit further out. But that's a good grouping of bids there. As Jack said, Superior's done work in the township before. They've done work for the township itself as well as private developments. We did reference checks and so forth, and they seem to be, adequately prepared and supplied to be able to do the work. They're actually doing the work down at Grace Senior too, all the site work down there. So they might try to tie that all in together depending
You're
on the
confident in
timing
their
of everything.
abilities?
Excuse me?
You're confident in their
Oh,
abilities?
yeah. You've got my letter dated March 1. I'm confident in their abilities to complete the work.
They are also the contractor that did our Lake Villa water main project down Lake.
So we just be looking for a motion to enter into a contract with them.
Okay.
I make a motion, if you will.
Yep, there's a suggested motion. You got that?
Yep.
Go right ahead, sir.
I move to award the Manitou Lane Water Main Project to Superior Excavating in the base bid amount of $312,448. This $312,448 amount to be expensed to Water Fund account 591-538-972 000 water line extensions.
I'll second the motion.
Motion by trustee Nichols, seconded by clerk Wright, to approve the Manitou Lane water main construction bid. A roll call vote, please.
Just a quick question.
Yes, sir.
Do you think the base bid amount will cover the contract? Do you think there's additionals that might occur?
I believe that the base bid amount's gonna cover that. I mean, we've talked to the residents in there, our portion, are you talking about the roadway aspect of it?
No, I'm just wondering if, with a change order, something that might have to be approved by the township board.
No, I think that the 312, 448 should be good.
Trustee Curtis,
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari,
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes, Trustee Dare,
Yes.
and Trustee Nichols.
Yes.
Thank you, board members. Next agenda item is Comcast Uniform Video Service Local Franchise Agreement. Clerk Wright, please.
This is a Comcast renewal agreement. The franchise agreements are for 10 years, and the contracts are basically the same as the other one if you reviewed both side by side. One of the issues that we're having is the franchise fees, I believe. Terry Stiles is here from the Cable Commission, and she knows far more than I do on it, so I'll defer to her if that's all right with the board.
Terry, go ahead, please.
So, as of January, the governor signed SB 637, which in essence can stand to diminish our franchise fees for in-kind services on all cable providers. Right now, we're not getting PEG fees from Comcast. I would encourage you to try to get the PEG fees from Comcast, and they'll in essence replace franchise fees if Comcast ever builds out. We haven't seen any revenue from them that I know of. Gianna, you might know that, but I don't think we've ever seen revenue from Comcast. However, since you are renegotiating that contract, I would strongly suggest that I'd like to sit in there with that, with you negotiating, but I would strongly suggest trying to get a 2% PEG fee, which is a maximum allowed by Michigan. However, federal maximum is 5. So we could even try to trump the Michigan max and ask for 5. We are allowed 2 PEG channels. We've only used 1 in the entire time that I'm aware of that we've had channels. So they get that channel back and they can use it for whatever programming they want, which I'm assuming they are getting advertising on that channel. So they've been making money off of that channel. All AT&T, Charter, and Comcast have had that extra channel for as long as I know of, and I've been at the station 21 years in one capacity or another. So we have some points that we could talk to them about to try to encourage them to pay us the PEG fees. We just built a new building. We have twice the amount of employees that we had the first time this contract was signed. We're producing more programming. We have over 8 hours of programming. In fact, we have 24 hours of programming. The requirement is 8 for us to have a second channel. So there's a lot of points that I'd like to talk to them about.
Mr. Chairman. Since franchise fees are being drastically cut, for these smaller stations like ours, like OCTV, the public educational and government funding, which is PEG, is critical to keeping the station going. And as Terry pointed out, in the past, we really haven't gone after these PEG fees when we had them coming to us through whatever reason. But we need to address that as a very serious issue at this point and go after those numbers that are out there. And it's a federal regulation that we can collect these monies. Terry might want to add something in terms of history on that, if she would.
Oh, as far as the PEG fees and
Yes.
not collecting them, it just was a matter of management, number one, I don't believe educated the communities. Each community needs to negotiate those PEG fees, and none of the 4 communities did. I don't know, that's a 10-year contract. Our Comcast, or our charter was a 14-year contract, which is due in August. So there may be a gap of when those franchise fees start diminishing and when we can negotiate PEG fees, getting a 2%, which would in essence replace what we're losing.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to add that Terry has got her thumb on the pulse of what's going on in the state of Michigan. All of the PEG stations are being affected, and we just want to make sure that our station is around, OCTV, to serve the community in the future.
Board members, what's your pleasure? Look, Ray.
There's a couple things that come to mind. This contract is due by the 25th of March.
Mhm.
So are you recommending we sign this or don't sign this, or approve this?
I would sign it and put the 2% PEG fee in there and see what they say.
Okay, because right here on the screen, you can see the PEG fees.
They've got a zero in there.
They've already filled this out and signed
Right.
the agreement.
Well, so I wouldn't sign it without putting
Where's that
2% in there,
It's number 2, right here.
right there.
Right here. Let's see if we can blow it up.
Oh, that's where they got the zero?
Or even if you could have Bill Dunn, they won't speak with me. I've tried to talk to other providers, and they won't speak with me. I don't represent the community. They'll only speak with the supervisor of the community. So if you could have Bill Dunn, maybe call them before the 25th and say, we want 2%, and these are the reasons why, or let's talk about it. Let's get together and talk about it. And I would be happy to talk with them as well, and find out where they stand. They are fully aware that all public access stations will be losing eventually franchise fees, because the providers have convinced the government that they would like to trade those franchise fees for in-kind services, meaning we're using their airwaves. But that's not, right now, that's not what the existing federal mandate is.
Okay, board members, what, trustee?
Yeah, I'd just like to ask Terry, is this something that maybe the other entities should get involved as an interlocal thing?
There's only one other community that has Comcast in their community, and Comcast just came into that community, so that contract already exists, and Comcast was very willing to pay the 2% PEG fees in that community.
Okay.
It's separate. 5% is separate. It's in section 6.
Okay.
Section 6, you'll insert right there. You'll insert the 5% here. And then if the board's inclined to want to negotiate that 2%, that should go in the motion as well.
That'd be under 7.2.
That'd be section 8A, subsection 2.
In PEG fees. Were you just
I would
talking about
suggest since they'd
franchise
like a
fees?
motion by us, if you'd like to add in those PEG fees, just add that to the motion. That in addition to the motion that's in front of you, amended to also include addition of item 8.2 at 2% for the PEG fees. Have Bill sign and send it off.
In-
Trustee Curtis.
In the proposed motion that we have here, we've got a 5% inserted on the blank line fees section 4A2. Is that what we're talking about here?
That's,
No,
Okay.
no, on the screen here, Trustee
What
Chris.
number is that?
That would be section 8. Right here where it says PEG fees.
Yeah, I saw it up there.
Yeah,
So-
right here is,
Which one is this one at 5%?
That's franchise fees.
5. This is 6, okay. Ooh, I don't know how to write that one.
I'll make a motion to approve the Uniform Video Service Local Franchise Agreement between the Charter Township of Oxford, Comcast of Florida, Michigan, New Mexico, Pennsylvania, Washington LLC, doing business as Comcast, with 5% inserted on the blank line to the fee section on 6A2 on page 4, and 2% inserted on section 8A2 for PEG fees of the agreement. Further, Supervisor William Dunn is authorized to sign the Uniform Video Local Service Franchise Agreement documents on behalf of the Charter Township of Oxford.
Support?
A motion by Treasurer Ferrari, supported by Trustee Curtis. A roll call vote, please.
Trustee Nichols,
Yes.
Trustee Dur,
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Treasurer Ferrari,
Yes.
and Trustee Curtis.
Yes.
Thank you, board members. We're on to 2019 chloride. Deanne, you want to handle that for us? Anything different on that, or?
Oh, absolutely nothing different.
Nothing?
We only have one bid that came in.
Okay.
We used to have two, but they're not going to service Oxford. So it's just the Oakland County, and actually, I believe the price did stay the same.
Board members, any questions? If not, a motion would be in order.
I move to provide chloride service in 2019 on a 50% township and 50% resident participation for individual orders on public gravel roads in contract with Road Commission for Oakland County at .4520 cents per foot for individual orders, with the township contribution being allocated from the telecommunication fund account 239 and general fund 101-446-969.000 highway road maintenance.
Support.
Motion by Clerk Wright, supported by Trustee Nichols. A roll call vote, please.
Trustee Curtis.
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Trustee Dar.
Yes.
And Trustee Nichols.
Yes.
Thank you, board members. On item 10F, appointment to the planning commission, of the planning commissioner to the ZBA. Right now, it looks like they're recommending the planning commissioner, John Knoll, be the representative for the liaison to the ZBA. There's a suggested motion here. If there's not any questions,
I move to appoint John Knoll to the Oxford Township Zoning Board of Appeals for a term commencing immediately and expiring December 31st, 2020.
Support.
motion by Trustee Curtis, supported by Trustee Nichols, to appoint Mr. Knoll to the ZBA. Roll call vote, please.
Clerk Wright, yes. Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes,
Trustee Curtis.
Yes.
Trustee Nichols.
Yes.
And Trustee Dar.
Yes.
that motion carries. Board members, last item, 10G, appointment to the Board of Review. Looks like we have an interested resident wanting to serve on the Board of Review to replace Mr. Kreiderman, who's choosing not to continue. And there's a motion available if you'd like to consider that.
I move to accept Melvin Kreiderman verbal resignation with regrets and appoint James McGinnis to the Oxford Township Board of Review to fill the vacancy for a term commencing immediately and expiring December 31st, 2020.
Support.
Motion by Trustee Curtis, supported by Trustee Nichols. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. All those opposed? That motion carries. Board members, item 11, there were no items removed from the agenda. Item 12 is public comment. Any public comment?
Yeah.
Fire Chief Schultz?
Try to catch on the fire department, but you move too quick, Joe. Doing good on the schedule. Two things. We just finished up at the schools today with our annual bicycle helmet safety program in conjunction with McLaren Hospital. This makes our 11th year that we've done it. So every single kid in Oxford schools from second grade all the way up through the seniors has gotten a bicycle helmet in the entire time that we've been doing that. So it's a pretty phenomenal program for them and everything. So secondly, the fire department is going to be applying for a safer grant through FEMA. It would be, if we are awarded, it would come out probably October, November of the year to add 6 full-time employees to the department. It would be for a 3-year grant. The first year they cover 75%, second year 75%, third year they cover 35%. At that time, which is also around the same time, it would be going for our millage renewal. So at that point, we'll be looking at bringing forward an increase to be able to keep the guys on the department and everything. The issue, as we mentioned in the past, is our paid-on-call response, our runs volume and everything now, that with the medicals going on, it pretty much uses up the crews that we have on duty right now going out covering the medicals, which leaves us basically, at times, I'm the only one in the township. No paid-on-call show up. Every single firefighter that we had is gone to the hospitals on transports, and I'm the only one totally in the entire township. So that means we call mutual aid, they bring an ambulance over and cover for us right now. But if I have a fire call or anything that comes out, we have nobody. And that happens almost every single day we're to that point. So with that, hiring those extra people, that would give me another 2 people per shift And that would at least be able to staff a truck that we'd be able to have a truck at all times ready to go forward. Also, that brings us further in line with NFP requirements to be able to have an engine crew of 4 people being able to respond to a structure fire. Right now, I've got one guy rolling out an engine a lot of times. Lately, we've been having mutual aid calls from neighboring departments, and it's the first time in my entire career in the last 6 months I've had to turn departments down that I can't get anybody to respond to the station. So and our guys are already on medical calls to the hospital that I'm actually having to say, I'm sorry, I've got nobody to send you. So that's why it's getting to that point. It's that critical. So we're hopefully planning everything to go forward to apply for the grant and hopefully be successful with it. So thank you.
Pete. Board of Trustee comments. Trustee Curtis.
To back Pete up, last night I heard a lot of loud banging outside my house, and I looked out, my alarm went off, and I could see smoke going up. What the heck is that? I ran out, and there was a fire. A house across the street called 911, and I mean, they just had gotten the call in, but 6 minutes later, the fire's out. I mean, that's how fast these guys are showing up, but the amount of people that we have there, because somebody said, well, where's the fire hydrants? There are no hydrants. Well, that's why you have 2 trucks here. You got a pumper truck, you got a guy driving it, you got that. So it's critical to support Pete in these activities to maintain that safety level, which we have and is service provided by. So I strongly recommend helping them out with that. Other than that, I have no other comments. Thank you.
Do you have anything?
No, I don't.
Clerk Wright?
No comments tonight.
Trustee Dur?
No.
Trustee Nichols?
I have a question if I could ask Fire Chief.
Sure, go ahead. We got a little bit of
When they
time.
do M24, they're going to close the northbound lane. What are you going to do to access out of your fire department there?
Good question. I had a meeting last week with MDOT, came up, and it was specifically, safety for the fire department, how we were going to be able to respond to everything. The project starts March, April, next spring, and lasts the entire season. The entire northbound lanes are being tore up to begin with because they have to run a new storm drain down through the entire thing from one end of it to the other, from Drainer, going past the fire station all the way up to almost to Gateways where the storm drain will be. So all 2 lanes, actually 3 lanes, will be tore up the entire year. Then that gets rebuilt, and then the traffic will then shift over. So in essence, all northbound traffic will be shut off from Drainer Road north the entire year. There will be no time at all that northbound traffic's going to be able to go up through there. So for me, coming out of the station, I have literally no access to go north into the township. So we've tried all kinds of different scenarios, what we could do, how to go back and forth. I've talked to them, because our property does abut up to Lincoln Street there in the back, up there by Harriet and Helen, that they could actually help make a path through the field that if I have to be able to respond to get up to that point. But that's only going to get me for a couple days until they finally dig all the way up there in front of that. So my next plan is, what we're looking at is potentially them working with the village and the township, having a meeting to discuss opening up Dayton Street, taking down the guardrail, knocking down a couple of the trees, clear it out to be able to get for emergency access that I can go. I can come out of the station and turn and go down to Davison Street to Pleasant and go out that way. And then that way I could get, because I'm going to Waterstone, Independence Village, where I go every single day. So this way I would have access to that area plus the whole north end of the township by that way. Otherwise, I would have to go East Street all the way over to Glassby Street and get in line with all 30,000 cars that will be going north on Glassby Street every single day. So that, again, it makes it pretty rough. And I even explained to them that if I get on East Street and I go to Glassby Street to go, where am I going to go anyhow with the solid bumper-to-bump traffic? So they were even talking about potentially looking at putting a stoplight at East Street and Glassby Street, which would be strictly for my use, that we would be able to, to be able to shut traffic off so we could at least pull out. But otherwise, again, it's going to be, in line with cars. So it's going to be a rough year, the entire year. So pretty hectic.
Pete, you know about the meeting on the 22nd, correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
Discussing traffic?
I'll be there.
Okay, perfect.
So, yep.
Very good. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, board members, for appointing me as your chairperson for this evening's meeting. I really appreciate that. I have nothing to add under trustee comments. There'll be a motion in order to adjourn, please.
Make a motion that we adjourn.
Support?
Motion by trustee Nichols, supported by trustee Curtis, to adjourn the meeting at 6:59 PM. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, that motion carries. Thanks, board members.
Good job, Joe.